What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. It's watch list time for game week 7 so far, and I'm recording this before the Brighton West Brom game and Burnley versus Spurs. It's been a really bad game week for a lot of people, so not a huge amount of players have kind of highlighted themselves to me as warranting going on the watch list, but I've still come up with 4 players, and neither of them include Zaha or Bamford, who probably do deserve a place, to be honest, at this point, and maybe they'll get a spot in the next couple of weeks. So there's 4 players to go for on this one. Please do give it a like if you enjoy it. Please do subscribe if you're new around here. You've been watching my content, you just haven't hit the button. Hit that button, help me hit 125k before the end of the season. And before we jump into the first player, let's talk about Champions League and Fan Team. So for anyone that saw my watch list video last week, you'll know that Fan Team are doing a great Champions League group stage event. €250,000 worth of guaranteed prizes, 50k for first place as well. And the great thing is it's not too late to enter. So they have like a bit of a catch-up mechanism for anyone that signs up in the second week. You'll start on 57 points. But not only that, you've essentially got a free wildcard. You can make unlimited changes right up to the deadline. And given that you've now seen the first game week as well for the Champions League, you'll know who's kind of looking good, which teams are looking good, which teams are looking bad, players looking good, players looking bad, etc. And you can build your team around that. It's just for the group stage event. You don't need to worry about the knockout rounds. So if you want to give that a go, there is a handy link in the description below. Make sure to use that. That's my sign up link. It is 18 plus. It is gambling, so you should be gamble aware. There's a link to that in the description below if you want to check that out. But like I said, so there's 3 points on offer. You've basically got another wild card. If you want to give it a go, hit that link in the description below. So first player is Antonio, and to be fair, he's kind of been on everyone's watch list since pre-season, but it's time to start taking note of him. That big game in Game Week 8 that everybody's been talking about for ages, Fulham at home, is coming, and he was always the plan to bring in Game Week 8, but I might have to bring that plan forward. I'll talk about that more in the team selection video tomorrow, and I know a lot of people say you're never bringing in Antonio against Liverpool away, but I am considering it, not necessarily because I think he's a brilliant option, he's going to score a hat-trick this week against Liverpool or anything like that, but because of my transfer plans, I do maybe have to bring this forward. So he's on the watch list for Game Week 7, or ahead of Game Week 7, instead of ahead of Game Week 8 for me. Looking at his underlying numbers, so 3.07 non-penalty expected goals, and he's got 3 goals, so pretty decent, right? He's kind of on par with what his XG is. He's the 5th highest non-penalty XG player in the whole game, so he's doing pretty well, especially when you consider these are the teams he's already played. Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Spurs, Man City, right? So it's already been tricky, and he's already got 3 and 6. Now, a lot of people will say he's fixture-proof. I would still turn around and say, in the space of 6 games, I would hopefully get more than 3 goals. But then again, if you scored 1 in every 2 games for the whole season and played 38 games, that'd be 19 goals. That'd be a pretty damn good return. So, to be fair, fixture-proof, sure, if you want to say that, 3 goals in the first 6 is pretty decent. He could have got more against City as well if he was able to stay on the pitch. But that is the concern. Can he stay on the pitch enough? I was hoping that he'd be like Danny Ings from last year, where he kind of got over these injury worries, was fully fit now, but it just doesn't look like that's the case. He came off early against Spurs as a precaution. He's come off early against Man City as a precaution as well, and that does worry me a little bit. And obviously, bringing a player in against Liverpool is never ideal either, but Liverpool have conceded the most amount of goals so far this season, along with, I think it's Fulham as well. So they haven't been great. Obviously, Alisson's back, which is good, but Van Dijk's going to be out for a while. After Game Week 8, the fixtures look really good. So Fulham, Sheffield United away, Aston Villa away, and the next 3 after that is decent. The next United, Man United, Leeds away, Palace at home. So the next 3 fixtures after that are not ideal, but he is someone, when he's fit, you can just leave in your team. 6.3 million is an absolute bargain. Great in the short term, although obviously the immediate short term with Liverpool away is tricky. But his underlying numbers are good. He's come into form a while back now, right? He was good for last season. He's brought that into this season as well. He's possibly on penalties too, right? Noble's not playing at the moment for West Ham. He's not getting in that team. So Antonio did take a penalty end of last season. There was a lot of speculation about whether that was just to hit the 10-goal bonus. But either way, he did score it. So there is a chance he'll carry on taking it. It's just that injury worry. You have to wait and see what David Moyes says about him. But given I got 2 free transfers, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them. Antonio in before the Game Week 8 fixture could be done. Now, if there's one thing that FPL managers like myself included, it is cheap defenders, and Kilman at 4.1 million has the potential to be an absolute bargain. No doubt would be the best value player in that Wolves defence. And as we know, the Wolves defence is pretty good. You'd have heard me bang on numerous times, one of the best defences in the league, yeah, etc, etc. We thought that Vinagre was going to be our bargain of the season. Turns out he's just not good enough, so they sold him, and he's gone from the club now. But Kilman could be that man. The only worry is, of course, is he now part of the first choice 11, right? And I saw comments after yesterday's game because Sai started again at left wing back for the second game in a row with Kilman starting at left centre back, right? So Marçal was on the bench. So he is, I assume, fit enough to play because he did come on, but maybe not fit enough to start from, in the first 11 from the first minute, potentially. I saw a lot of comments after the substitution. Well, Saiss has gone off, that means Kilman is first sub. I saw some people thinking that Saiss coming off was good for him, right? So people don't know, right? People are drawing conclusions from one substitution. So you could look at it and say, okay, yeah, Kilman's first choice centre-back now. He could have brought Marçal on. He could have put Saiss back to left centre-back. But on the flip side, I would be thinking, and bearing in mind, I don't own either of these players right now, so I'm not really biased either way. I'd like Saiss or Kilman, whoever is nailed on, right? I'd like to get a Wolves defender back at some point. But you could look at it another way, that Saiss has played kind of 90 minutes, then another 60-yard at left wing-back. It's probably not the best idea to then shove him back to left centre-back when Kilman is doing an okay job. That doesn't mean in the next game, the Marçal won't start left wing-back and Saiss will drop back into left centre-back. He'll be more prepared to do it. He'll know in advance that's where he's playing, and he won't have to worry about getting up and down the left wing. So I think it's way too early to say which one of these two is nailed on, which is the only thing. I really want to bring in Kilman this week, and again, I might do it right. I am gonna talk more about my team tomorrow, but I'm in a situation where I've got 2 free transfers, and unless there's any major injuries in tonight's game, I don't really have a huge amount to do with them. So doing Mitchell to Kilman could be something that I do to play him in that Crystal Palace game, and if he doesn't play, right, if Saiss moves back to left centre back, I haven't really lost anything because Mitchell's on the bench because he's good value. Kilman would then be on the bench because he's good value as well. I.e., I've got more money to spend elsewhere. I still have plenty of defenders I could play instead. The big question is, does Mitchell even need to be moved on, right? I got him at 4 million. He's now gone up to 4.2. And the last 2 games, Van Aanholt's been on the bench. He's got about 7 or 8 months left of his contract. He's not signed it yet. Mitchell, I don't know if he's been like a Wan-Bissaka levels, but he's done pretty well in that left-back spot. So Hodgson might not change things, right? He might keep his place. Ultimately, I might not even need to go to Kilman, but getting him for Crystal Palace at home, I mean, that seems like a nailed-on clean sheet for Wolves, no matter who's at the back. So that is pretty tempting. But I just worry that he's not necessarily first choice. He's going to be on my watch list, preferably either. The problem is, how many games do I need to see at the Saiss left wing back and Kilman centre back to think that's just the deal now? What I did like to see is Marçal to come into the team, or Ait-Nouri, and then see who plays left centre back, and that is the one who I would then say is nailed on. But Kilman at 4.1, he's definitely a transfer target for me. So I have to be honest, right? I was a little bit put off by Leicester's fixtures. I was kind of saying last week, if you've got them, maybe it's a good time to offload them or not bring them in. And to be fair, maybe this is a little bit knee-jerk because they've just got a clean sheet against Arsenal, right? And now I'm suddenly looking again at the fixtures and thinking, actually, they look all right. Castagna for 5.8 million. Potentially, again, I keep banging on about it, but I've got this transfer I could use. So I could downgrade Trent. I could swap Reguilon. Let's see what happens tonight first. And so at 5.8 million, obviously, I like Chilwell. Chilwell's definitely on the watch list as well. But I think I have to put Castagna on there too. Leicester's fixtures are actually okay, right? So they've got past the Arsenal game with a clean sheet. Leeds away actually probably a little bit tricky because we know how many shots in the box they're having. I think they're second for shots in the box behind Liverpool. They're creating a lot of chances, but potentially Leicester could get a clean sheet there. Then it's Wolves at home. That actually looks really good for a clean sheet. Like, Wolves are not doing well in an attacking sense so far this season. So that's decent. Liverpool away is obviously tricky. Then it's Fulham at home. Then after that, it's Sheffield United away and Brighton at home. So, okay, in the next 3, maybe it's not ideal. But if you wanted to get a defender in, who you're then keeping in place, because you don't want to keep spending transfers on defenders, you could hold him for the medium term. Then I would look over the next, 6 fixtures. Wolves at home, Fulham at home, Brighton at home, Sheffield United away. That screams clean sheets to me, especially for Leicester, who were a pretty good defensive side last year. And it looks to be the same this year as well. They're 4th for expected goals conceded, 4th best, that is. And that's already better than the likes of Man City, Man United. So they're doing pretty decent, right? Their fixtures haven't been the most difficult, to be fair. In like the opening 5 fixtures, I think their toughest one was Man City. Obviously, they've just played Arsenal as well. But they are a generally good defensive team. And like I said, the fixtures coming up, maybe they're not as bad as they first look, especially when you go and get a clean sheet against Arsenal. Looking at the underlying stats for Castagna in particular, obviously he got a lot of attack and returns early on. He's got 5 chances created, 2 shots in the box. Nothing special really. He's 9th, or there's 9 defenders ahead of him for expected goal involvement. So he's doing okay, but he's not brilliant. Ricardo has had a setback, so Justin could be an option too. But I think longer term, Castagna is probably the one to go for. And if you're looking to spend that kind of money, you don't want to go for Chilwell, he's one to look at. So I am strongly considering him. If I was going to bring one in, I'd probably still be looking at Chilwell for now. But I can already see a situation where I've got Trent, and I might need the money from him. I've got Reguilon. I'm definitely not 100% convinced by Spurs, and I might need to move him on. So having Castagna and Chilwell instead, both attacking fullbacks in teams that are going to keep clean sheets, could be a pretty good option. So 5.8 million is quite expensive, but I think for nailed onness, plus attacking potential and clean sheet potential, he looks decent. So Danny Ings can just not stop getting points, right? He's already got 6 returns in 6 games this season. That's off the back of last year. He got 22 goals, 2 assists, that's 24 returns. And his injury record, you know, we're kind of forgotten about that at this point because he's just looking so good. And by the way, his 2 assists from this season has already equalled last season. So maybe he's going to pull a bit of a Kane on us. He's going to be scoring goals and getting assists as well. And, you know, next 2 fixtures looking really good. Aston Villa away, Newcastle at home. Yes, okay, team structure-wise, for me in particular, it would probably take getting rid of Harry Kane. Who knows? Maybe there'll be an injury or something tonight. Maybe I downgrade Trent, I get Ings in. It does seem unlikely, but he's definitely on my watch list. I hadn't written him off, but I certainly wasn't really considering because of the price. But I think I have to. He's just been so consistent. The next 2 fixtures look good. Then it's Wolves away and Man United at home, a little bit trickier. My only issue with Danny Ings, right? Let's talk about Che Adams. Che Adams, is he... Look, I hate this conversation about whether he can cover someone, but for a lot less money, right, we're talking, what, 2.7 million less, you can get Che Adams, right? Let's read off the stats. So these are from Fantasy Football Scout. Big chances so far. Adams 5, Ings 4. Chances created, 5 for Adams, 5 for Ings. Very similar. Shots in total, 13 each. Shots inside the box, 12 for Adams, 11 for Ings. Expected goal involvement, slightly higher for Che Adams. Non-penalty expected goals, more than 1 higher than Danny Ings, right? So underlying stats-wise, Adams is on a par, if not better, than Danny Ings. And obviously we saw from the first, 4 games where I was saying, you know, the stats for Adams are good. The goals are probably going to come at some point, but I still have to get rid of him. Well, guess what? Now the goals have come. Those underlying numbers are being kind of turned into goals at this point. And for Aston Villa away and Newcastle at home, he looks like a great option as well. So I think that's ultimately, like, I've put Danny Ings on a watch list and I will keep watching him. But probably, given that I'm going to have to give him the Aston Villa game, am I going to want to bring him in against Newcastle? Probably not. But consistency-wise, he's on a par with Jimenez. He's got penalties as well. Let's not forget, he scored 22 goals last year without penalties. Now we do think he has them. Sure, we'll see on the next one whether Ward-Prowse takes it, but I've got a feeling it's going to be Danny Ings. So he looks good. I just can't... I guess this could have been Che Adams instead. Che Adams back on the watch list. But the numbers do look good for Ings, and obviously he's nailed on. He's playing 80 to 90 minutes, but I cannot look past Che Adams either for a similar stats and 2.7 million less. So one of the Southampton boys have to be on that. I was very impressed with them against Everton. They really didn't let Everton play, and they were very impressive going forward as well. Didn't create a huge amount of chances, but another day I think that could have happened. And obviously Everton not a bad defensive team either. So Danny Ings, Che Adams, both on the watch list, both looking good. Che Adams in particular looks like he could be incredible value, and those of us that sold early, we're being rightly punished. So that is it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give it a like. The support is always appreciated. And hit subscribe. You've been watching my content, you've been enjoying it, but you've not yet hit the button. Make sure you do that. Really helps me out as well. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this watch list. Are there any players on this list that you've already bought in, you're thinking of bringing in this week, or ultimately you just think of rubbish options? There's better options out there. Let me know in the comments below. And if you've not already checked out Fan Team, you're a fan of Champions League, you want to try and earn some money, make sure you sign up with a link in the description below. 250,000 euros worth of prizes, 50k to first place. And the great thing is you get a bit of a catch up, right? So you start on 57 points, which is 90% of the average from the first game week, and it's just for the group stage as well. So there's still time to sign up. Use that link in the description below. And the great thing is you can make a team from scratch. So it's almost like having a wild card, but you get some points to go along with it. So link in the description below if you want to try out Fan Team and Champions League. Otherwise, please do like, share, comment and subscribe on this video, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the team selection.